certain point, if they really struggle to hold off VP's takes from the control, that type of thing, it's going to be really interesting to see what push can come up with to actually get them out of that rough spot. And I think if they don't do that, then you can really feel like the more key side of VP, then it's really matter who you are versus the side. So really long time.
And there's also the fact that, in my opinion, none of these teams have really been tested so far in this tournament. Yeah, we had a close game against DS Nacional. They had a terrible first half, almost made a comeback in the second half. They decided to against Lepricon. They were the clear favorites in that matchup. Had a pretty straightforward game there. Fnatic had two amazing games. We gave up 4 rounds with full match. So we'll see how they pair up against the stronger team like 3P and also weekly against the stronger individuals like
I just think the great point for this moment, public service announcement, which has been informed by the voices in my head and the producer that we are now at capacity. There are no more seats available. However, if you do want to watch the game, you can go to the Dreamhack Arena Extreme that we signposted. You can go watch the game there rather than crowded. So you can see we've already got a lot of interest in this game. Anyway, back to the analysis. I guess you start moving towards predictions. I guess if you're thinking about the board, you would have slightly favourite from on the basis that they they're more Spanish line, I suppose.
I don't know how fantastic. We know how good they are. These are maps, like particularly Mirage, just the fact that they're very strong on. You seem to beat them on Mirage, you're doing fantastic Mirage teams. Yes, Mirage is definitely leading towards them. My problem is, I've never seen Inferno as a really strong. Like I say, they only tend to win that when they're in such a good one. It's like they can beat you on any map that matters. So I feel like that's more the shaky one. And Cash, I mean, both teams haven't liked it recently, but at least Knight's got something new going for them when maybe they might like it. VP really haven't liked Cash for quite a while. They can play it, but it's right down the bottom end of their player. So I'm actually feeling like, yeah, on paper, first place for paper. Not by the paper, they've got the status where, yeah, they should be considered the paper. But actually, the map for I'm liking that because I'm thinking, when I turn up and play, well, doesn't even have to be these things supposed to be based on. I think Fnatic was because of the map, you want. Because I'll give Blitz Pro Mirage on the same price.
Okay, what do you think about this idea? I mean, I talked to the first pro guys. They said that I mean, they're obviously they were out in San Jose. They didn't have time to practice. They were basically training it like we've had so many tournaments, so many online games like this. Actually, tournament play has been our practice. And then on day one, they said we're really feeling the team. Is that going to play a factor? I think it plays a factor up until the game, not just before the game goes live, because then you're only thinking about the game, the adrenaline kicks in as well, and you kind of forget about the fatigue or whatever, and just playing you want to win. I have this feeling that Fnatic is going to show the same level they've shown 2 days ago, and I think it's going to be real hard for VP to work with that. It's really hard to predict this one as we were saying here. I'm going to go with Fnatic as well, because they should be a one.
Yeah, well, the disc is in unison. 2-1 for Fnatic as well. I think on Cash, just having the addition of the extra firepower with Dennis on a map like Cash can really benefit Fnatic. So Cash 2 teams on a map that they don't really like that much. Firepower can be an exceptionally good solution to that kind of problem where you don't want to fiddle around and try to read your ones. You just want to go straight to the areas and just open up sites. And I think Fnatic have that against Falcon with Dennis at the
now, we're just always waiting to get everyone ready on the server. I alluded to this earlier. Cuban did an interview where he said, we are trying out a new thing, we are trying out a new style. We've already talked about Fnatic's new style and how they play more B-side focused style of play. What was it they were doing differently yesterday with Pro? Because I'll be honest, they looked a lot like Virtus Pro.
I mean, it's true they did have a lot more slow execute. Normally the VP style is like, I always think of VP like this. So, say imagine if they were trying to break into a house. For whatever reason, small man would do that. And the house, the door is locked. But like it's slightly, a little bit aggressive, just like push a little gap. Instead of just like going, oh, we'll do like lock picking that wheel, incredible tactic, we read the road, whatever. Instead, they just go, right, there's a little gap, shoulder barge it, and then once they're like, everyone in, and then they're all running in, and then they pull you stuff again, I don't know why they do. The analogy just that would be okay.
Well, I've just been told we're planning at the 1 minute warning, so I've already got predictions. And we're totally standing by them, we're not going to change. 2-1 for tonight, 2-1 for tonight, 2-1 for tonight. No, I want to change, and I'm going to stay 2-1 because I think we get very ruined. You'll be silly in the box.
You can be wrong on your own, and we are going to roast you alive.
Brilliant. Well, look, thanks a lot for your thoughts, gentlemen. It's a beautiful day for Counter-Strike, and we have got a beautiful pair of commentators to bring you this one. It is Tossbot and Fifth Lara. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Richard. It is a beautiful day for Counter-Strike, and we have two teams on this stage who are beautiful in their own rights. Fnatic of Sweden and the local 100-crown favourite for the Virtus Pro, who I think everyone holds a bit of a soft spot for. Fifth Lara, do moments like this make you miss being up on that stage?
Sometimes, especially when it's a crowd like this, it's amazing.
It's okay, it's not bad being stuck with people like us. It's still a stage. I mean, you gotta learn how to deal with it. That's about it. So, thank you for your contributions to this one. I know you're itching to share yours. Thoughts on these two teams? I actually really like that for Fnatic, and I think that they were, especially looking into the group stage match. So, we're just steamrolling. Now, the words that were used to describe this video of Fnatic roster as the is just really get us to give sort of firepower. Talk us through that. Why they have firepower? I mean, Monaco was their in-game leader. He was more of just a player, a tactical player, whereas Dennis was by far the best player in MTV. He took a break and then coming back and then gamers too, and now he's back in Fnatic, so he's an old riser. It's a lot more heavy hitters on the team now, which is something that maybe they were lacking. I mean, I don't think that they were that bad when they were leading. Yeah, sure, they had spots, but usually wasn't the hitters they all. What did you think of Taz on the stage today? It wasn't his usual jovial Taz self. You know, sometimes you get to an event, Taz gets on stage, himself who's with you. That was serious game-based Taz. Yeah, I mean, they want to win. Especially when you have that performance they had at San Jose. Sure, they had me instead of Snacks, and that's a heavy hit for BP, especially with Snacks. Obviously, it's BP's best player, right? And they end up missing him. Sure, maybe the firepower wasn't lacking, but when you have such an impactful player not playing on your team, it's different. If he was playing instead of Yao, here we go. We are underway. It's Virtus Pro versus Fnatic. Map 1 of 3. Joined by Fifth Lara and Tossbot on the basic semi-finals. Yeah, good to see us over they bombs up. Look at BL and Cross, they're very aggressive on the B bombs there. So if they really want to, they can actually push and climb here and see rather as it is Taz in this game based on looking to do the damage. He will go down first. Taz will Stacks follow him. Can realize the frags as they take control of that A site. He is down to just patch out Bialy to recover. His parents Stacks down and ready to go. And that is how you send the exit across the stage. And BP there. You know, that's not how you want to start off a game, right? You go in and you end up missing bullets on the guy in the bomb site. But yeah, for Fnatic, very simple. They execute on the game bomb site. Just end up shooting headshots. What can you do against all points for next one? The Fnatic side, how much are they still learning one another with the Russell chain? You know, obviously they have familiarity to play with the players before. So this is just a connection here. I mean, we haven't played. The one thing that you have to adjust is obviously leading. Now you have touch and a little bit before on this person go for it, or maybe you just want to change plus what's going on following. But that's always going to change a little bit. There's different styles of play. That's just changing, you know.
It is time for our first game of the day. It is Empire taking on Clovers and Lepricon, Cinder and Lewis.
Let's see if they're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dreamhack Winter 2015. This is lower bracket final between Team Empire and 4C&L. I'm Luminous and I'm joined by Mr. Baby Rage himself, Cinderin. How are you doing today?
Good. Got some good rest after yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty short day. All the series went 2-0. So we're ready for some good Dota hopefully here, and I think these two teams, it's a pretty even matchup, I would say, based on what we've seen in the tournament. I do agree with I don't know if it was the common consensus among the panel, but at least it seemed like the majority thought Empire might be slight favorites.
Well,
and we're gonna get a fight right now.
Avalanche is pretty good on the backside though. The Clockwork Hogs doing a very good job isolating the fight here for Team Empire. The lift back here looks like Weapon Y will give the first blood to Nikwa. They want a little bit more here. Nikwa clearing up. He will have a stun if he wants the Mango. The chase goes the other way as Bambo will have a cog momentarily. He does cog resolution in. This should be a secondary kill for 4CL. If they could get the range, they will. Great start here for 4CL, and I guess it's a little bit of a cluster F on the mid lane, but you know, got 2 kills, got a couple of runes. They're pretty happy.
Yeah, they're just flat out outnumbered, Empire. Empire only brought 4 heroes, and the one they didn't bring was the Tusk.
The best level 1 hero.
Like the best level 1 hero their lineup has, so pretty straightforward stuff for 4 Clovers there. They also get the Bounty Rune, I do believe. Yeah, that went to Bambo, so Bambo has a really good start here. He gets one of the kills, Bounty Rune, gets assist on the other kill. Already level 2 in that offlane. This is a very difficult matchup for Clockwork most of the time, playing against Gyrocopter. If Gyrocopter plus anything, that is, if you get caught by any disable, the Rocket Barrage just brings you down really quickly.
Especially Shadow Shaman with a long disable at level 1. But Bambo starting with boots first, and the fact that he's got the rune, like you said, he's got the early kill. Once he gets level 2, in fact, Shadow Shaman might have to be careful. In fact, Bambo really out of position. Shaco, no, he doesn't have Shaco because he's got the Ethershock for the fight early. So Bambo, knowing that he could play aggressive, does so, and Trace a bit of harass back and forth.
And it's pretty understandable you skill Ethershock for the level 1 fight. It's actually one of the best level 1 nukes in the game. 140 damage on an 8-second cooldown. It is single target, but if you isolate a target, it makes very quick work of them. And Bambo, knowing that, is able to push the limits here a bit. Of course, he is going to start running out of regen fairly soon, so that's a little bit concerning. He is going to send down the courier. I guess this is... Nope, it's not a salve. It's actually a Ring of Protection, so we're going Tranquil Boots in this offlane. Only needs another 1 CS and a bit of time to get the money for that.
That's somewhat surprising for me, given the nice start that he had. Do you think that maybe going bottle first would be a nice choice, considering that he already has the boots?
Yeah, I think Clockwork is one of the offlaners that benefits the most from getting a bottle, so I would definitely agree that could have been a choice. He might just be considering trying to save up for a bottle now is a little bit unrealistic. He will have to ferry down more regen first, and then it gets delayed so much that maybe just going for a halfway stop with Tranquils.
Mid lane, no fear. Taking a bit of damage here, but should be relatively fine. Bane actually starting with a no talisman, not something that we see too often. He's already pretty amazing on the stat side. What does no give him that he really needs at this point?
More stats.
More stats. All right.
Good. But yeah, it is quite a bit unusual. I guess most of the support items were bought by Shadow Shaman, which I'm not sure if I agree with. I think Bane is one of the heroes that can actually afford to
skimp on the stats
sacrifice a little bit in the start because he has so good base stats. Top lane, Funnick. He's getting some really good levels, by the way. He's level 4. The trade-off is that no one is contesting the pulls from Soxus. So he's actually managed to stack once for Shadow Fiend. I imagine he will... Actually, no, he's not going for a second stack here at minute 3. But we've seen this movie before. Pycat doesn't win the mid lane, then he gets like a double stack or a triple stack on both camps and comes back strong. It's got to be something Empire have in the back of their minds. Funnick taking some good damage here. The Wraithfire Blast as well as the Rubik coming in with Fate Bolt. There's the Telekinesis. They need a little bit more. Funnick will be using the Magic Stick. He's just taking the damage here. Finally lets the Snowball go. Ice Shards ready. My trade-off here. This is actually a really good play from Funnick. We'll be trading with Nico most likely.
Magic Stick, not going to be enough. Well, Owen did look for a kill on Funnick early, and they did get it, so maybe Empire's going to win the game now, right?
That's true. Well, it comes at a price. This poor man's shield really paying dividends there for the Tusk. We also saw, I do believe it was Funnick yesterday going poor man's shield on Night Stalker.
Yes, he did, against the Drow Ranger lane, and Drow was just pinging.
Sick. If you look at what it does for its cost, you can pretty easily argue it's one of the best items in the game. Actually, let's see Funnick taking some more damage. He's going to snowball a lot earlier here. That means he doesn't have it for a defensive play when he gets Telekinesis. Now, Creep Wave coming in to help him. Secondary Wraithfire Blast, and this should actually be a kill. He has no way out of this one. Good crit from Nico as well. Seal the deal.
But again, we're seeing poor man Shield really delaying that death for a long time. His supports are not really teleporting in for him. Bane doesn't have a TP, and I don't think Shadow Shaman is rich enough to afford a TP. I do want to go back to the point with Bane getting the no talisman first, because something that Peter touched on in the panel is I normally want Shaman to start with boots first, and the fact that no talisman was bought and Shaman had to buy most of the starting wards and regen and whatnot, he is really being sacrificed in this position.
He's got the boots now. He's got 3 CS, and I guess he got a pull off, but it's true. This is You generally want to have them earlier because this hero just has absolute garbage move speed and you need to kind of compensate for it early so you can catch the offlaner off guard. But they still managed to deal okay with Bambo, I guess. I'm saying that as he's almost level 5 actually, so maybe not so much. His CS is low, but good experience. But now we are going to see what we were looking for. Some rotation from Empire. We're sending Bane top with Phoenix Tusk. See if they can find a rotation here, or if nothing else, at least scout out these stacks and maybe
steal the stack. I mean, you got shards, you got snowball. You probably can't kill the big crease, but
they need resolution for that, for sure.
Resolution, unfortunately for him, the waves are pretty much shoved into his tier 1, so he can't really do too much. Maybe it's going to be a wraparound, but Saxa, he's going to be okay tanking this gank for the team.
I think he's screwed.
Well, he does skill the co-embrace. In fact, they're going to go on the Shadow Fiend, but they have the co-embrace. They immediately use on him. They're going to turn on the Wyvern, but Wyvern's going to be fine. Avatos on the Shadow Fiend. He will go down. Teleportation's going to come in here from the Wraith King, but I think a little bit too late here. So a pretty big win for Empire, rotating both the Tusk as well as the Bane around the jungle for the kill.
This is the best kill-killer combination they could get. Tiny killing Shadow Fiend is the absolute best outcome of any gank right now. You want Resolution to get some good golden experience early on so you can contest these stacks. You want him to scale very well, and shutting down the Shadow Fiend. If they don't get the stacks now, 4CL, they're actually pretty far behind. So they have to make sure to protect these, and as a result, they've rotated over EGM, actually leaving the top lane empty, prioritizing the stacks more than anything.
I think that's the added benefit of that gank, because Nikwa is not free farming or Rubik getting the free levels in the lane. Speaking of levels, he could actually steal Shadow Fiend's experience in the jungle if he wants, but no fear. Maybe a little bit out of position. The raises should be absolutely easy. Pycat picks a free one. And boy, we've seen what Pycat could do with free kills.
Yep. All that effort they just put on killing Pycat mid doesn't really pay off too much anymore. If he didn't get that free kill there, even giving him the stacks, he should still be not ahead, which is what you want to happen for Shadow Fiend. As long as he's on par with your own mid laner, that's good enough. SF needs to get ahead to be really, really strong. And oh, that bonus kill does put him on top of the net worth. Very little bit though, so it's still manageable for Empire so far.
Something that PPV look for is when is Shadow Shaman going to hit level 6, and checking on his level right now, 7 minutes in. 4.5, not too bad for a support, but I think the more important level 6 is Sexy Bambo getting it. He's going to go back to base, grab a TP, grab that magic wand, and start looking for the pickoff. Bane should be a fairly easy kill. Shadow Shaman, it's just a free gimme if he gets a hook on him.
It's not the absolutely easiest game for Clockwork, though. Killing Tusk is pretty much impossible. He can just snowball and buy time for the cogs to expire or snowball a target outside the cogs. Tiny, you really don't want a hook shot. You just get blown up in one go. And even the Shadow Shaman, yes, you can probably solo kill him, but it takes very long when he just casts the Hex on you to delay that. So it's kind of tricky for Bambo. He's not even going to try to rotate for now. He'll go bottom.
He might just eat a Shackle here.
He'll be moving away. Wise choice here. There's actually a TPN from Funnigan. He's going to get spotted by this aggressive ward now from 4CL.
So I'm glad that you point out the fact that Clockwork might not have the easiest time fighting solo kills. Why do you think that 4CL is actually picking this hero? Because it was the last pick for them. Is this job mostly just to control space and give space to Shadow Fiend and the Wraith King to get farm here?
He's pretty good against Gyro if he gets Blade Mail, but that's a big if. He hasn't had the easiest laning stage, so I don't think the timing on it is going to be very good. Vision is always nice from the Rocket Flare, and it's also about, you know, it's a comfort pick. It gives them a very clear, hard engage that they can follow up on. It helps protect Shadow Fiend in the fights. It's all right. I don't think it's an amazing pick, but it's also not a bad one. It's just a pretty stable one for them.
Okay, mid lane here looks like we're going to see a little bit of engagement on Saxa. He is healing himself under tower, and the Rainbow Assortment of TP is going to come in. Resolution, though, will die here. A Shadow Fiend, well, gets a return kill. A little bit of revenge from earlier. Rocket Flare scouting out Funnick. So another rotation here from Empire, and unfortunately for them this time, it's not working out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Not enough mana on Bambo to go for that hook shot, and even if he had, he couldn't block him in after. Now he will get it. Arcane Boots being used by his buddy EGM.
This has been the tournament of really farm Rubiks. I mean, we've seen Aloha Dance with that Aghanim Scepter finishing the game yesterday. I believe Crit playing a pretty big Rubik as well. And EGM not too shabby here. Picks up a very early level 6 as well as a very early Arcane Boots. Generally, this hero is very starved.
Yeah, they've been getting so much out of that top lane. EGM has actually been part of 5 out of 6 kills for his team. So I believe he was the one helping out Pycat killing the solo Bane in the jungle. He got the kill top on the Tusk earlier, actually 2 of them. And now this rotation down to bottom might yield benefits too. Hook shot is going to connect on Shadow Shaman. He is actually very, very screwed. Doing whatever he can here with his spells. Will be killed off by the Rubik. Fate Bolt. No Fear comes in a little bit late, but they might be able to get... Actually, they definitely get Bamboo here. He could try to stick... Actually, there's cooldown. Can't even stick TP. It wouldn't have worked anyway. But a big rotation from Empire. They brought down the whole cavalry, and that just opens up the map.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend's like, I'll pour back mid. I'm going to start damaging in mid tier 1. Meanwhile, Pycat on the top lane, Nikwa on the top lane, pushing out in the top lane as well. So I feel like the movement of 4CL has been a lot more successful. And this mid game is going to really pay off for them. Once Shadow Fiend picks up that mech and later on some stats item, BKB, SMY, whatever the case is, it's going to be very hard to repel that push that 4CL has going for them.
This is a... You know, generally... Oh, actually, that's a very easy kill on the Rubik here. Haste Rune for Resolution. Allows him to get in range for his full combo, but... I was going to say, generally, you know, it's just a stable item for Shadow Fiend to get BKB somewhere in his build. In this game, it's absolutely incredible. It's so good against Empire's lineup to get that BKB, so should be absolute first priority for 4CL to secure Pycat getting that. I wouldn't hold it against him to go BKB into mech and actually skipping S and Y just so they can take team fights early and try to secure themselves the Roshans. I'm gonna see if that's what they're gonna do. Ice Shards, pretty far off the mark here from Funnick, but this tower should still be going down with the ward.
It will go down, but maybe not without a fight for 4CL. Teleportations are coming in. It's gonna be Wyvern. They're gonna go on No Fear on the right side. Very long TP from Saksa. Should be able to get a very easy kill. The grip being used, trying to get that reincarnation away from the Wraith King, but they did get what they came for, which is the tier 1. And Shadow Shaman is a pretty amazing support for that matters. Every 120 seconds, you should get a free tower.
At least so far, the tier 1s are fairly accessible to them. I think the tier 2s are going to be a lot harder, but something 4 Clovers will definitely be fighting for. And Shadow Fiend is a pretty good hero against Shadow Shaman for clearing out the wards in front of the tower. He one-shots them, I think, already with his 150 damage. So, can be a little bit tricky for Empire, but so far so good. Pretty even game. Actually, very even game on gold. Experiences, slight advantage for 4 Clovers, mainly the Rubik. Of course, we talked about getting some good levels.
All right, Cinder, let me pick your brain a bit, because when we see 4CL run this duel, carry the Shadow Fiend, the Wraith King, they alternately tanked up with front line, they will seizure tier 3. And to be honest, Gyrocopter is not exactly the best core to deal with that kind of situation. So if it gets to that stage where 4CL is knocking on your doorstep, what is the plan for Team Empire?
Tiny is really good for it.
You walk up and toss him back here.
Blink, toss him into Gyro next to a tower. That's pretty strong.
Shards is really annoying.
Shards are good for blocking off the base so they can't even help the guy getting caught. And Tiny also deals... I mean, yes, he is kind of about the cleave usually with the Aghanims build, but when you start getting pretty stacked on this guy, just his base damage alone, when you get a crit, you can man-fight one-on-one against the enemy carrier. So I think Empire in this game, compared to the game you're referencing, have the tools they will need if they get pushed hard by 4 Clovers later on.
Speaking of toss, EGM has that on his Rubik. I think he's looking to toss Shadow Fiend maybe to initiate, but for now, no real targets in sight. And I think 4CL very comfortable taking this to the mid and late game. They have great farming heroes. Wyvern almost picking up level 6 as well, and Bambo's still in this bottom lane after that, you know, bottom lane gank and the mid lane help. He's just really looking to rise it up. Getting that blade mail that you said is very good against the Gyrocopter.
He's 500 away. So this could be around 15 minutes. That's a pretty good time when you have Tranquils. Obviously got off to a great start with the first blood fight, which has propelled him into this situation. I find that nowadays, compared to if you go back a few months, Clockwork's way rarer go for the blade mail first, because enemy teams just utilize the force staff very early, just force out of the cogs, you don't really care, he pops blade mail, you just ignore him, go on the other heroes. So most of the times we actually see Clockwork in turn respond by getting a force staff himself, so he can choose between either engaging and getting out and letting his team take care of business on the target locked inside the cogs, or he can follow through either by engaging with the force or the hook and then using the other one to chase. So this time there's going to do the blade mail though. I think force staffs for Empire are actually very far away, so I like it a lot this time.
Nobody has to farm to really fight for the force staff. I think the supports are normally the ones that could get it in this game, but they're very poor.
And unless you go for like utility Tiny, but it's not resolution style on the hero.
Yep.
And I think that item build is very, very situational, and it depends on the other cores you have being able to compensate for the lack of physical damage your Tiny will have when you go for that build. And this time, you could argue Shadow Shaman being a support with this much physical damage from the wards could do it, but I still don't think it's enough.
Well, he's actually almost finishing it. If he gets the last one on the tower, he's got the 4-staff, so...
Oh, there, you're right.
Yeah,
wow,
so...
I didn't think he was getting it this early. All of a sudden, full force.
I mean, you know, it was like 5 minutes ago where he wasn't even level 6, he was very poor, and suddenly, with a couple of Mass Serpent wards being dropped, right back in it. Mid lane looks like it's going to be the first big fight of the game, and I honestly think 4CL fight much better. With that said, though, Pycat is not going for that mech build that we both think that he should be going for. He's going to go for the stats SNY. What do you think about this?
For me, it was either or. Mech BKB or SNY BKB, but definitely getting the BKB as the secondary item would be the choice here, I think. I'm not sure why he's deciding against the mech. Maybe he feels like it's a bit more of a farming game and not so much fighting. It's been 13 kills in 15 minutes. It's not very low, but at the same time, Empire seem to be dodging the fights pretty much. They just want to split push with their Shaman wards, get some key items up on the Tiny, and he keeps up in farm.
The nice thing about SNY, I guess often forgotten part of the MAME is that you use slow attack speed. And against the Tiny without Wisp Tether and Overcharge, he is not really doing that much attacking. Going to be needing that AC, and he's very, very far away for that. Speaking of resolution, he's going to be going for the Blink Dagger first. Unfortunately for him, not really able to find too many free pickoffs on support. Maybe he'll find one on Wyvern on the mid lane right now.
Yeah, looking for Soxa. He does have the backup of Funnick. If Soxa goes for the CS, he's dead. Nice.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Oh, there you go. Free pickoff.
That's a hero. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Resolution isn't finding enough in this game. His CS is actually very low, 51. So in terms of the farming game, 4CL are pulling quite a bit ahead. And now that you saw Resolution's comboing down that Wyvern, you might also be considering a Shadow Fiend going for SNY just to have more stats. The mech obviously gives a 250 heal, but you need to be able to get it off first. Yeah. And this Tiny Avalanche combo, Avalanche Toss combo with just one extra nuke could have killed Pycat from full health without this Sanjay, but the extra 16 strength.
I really appreciate the choice of Nikwa going for the item, because normally we see like Armlet Blade Mail, but you just want to fight and initiate for the team.
Oh, I'm actually really surprised. This is 68% first major item in Clockwork. That's not what I feel I've seen. Maybe I've seen some very select games.
Maybe we've been watching too much Mind Control Clockwork. He loves that 4-staff.
I also feel like Universe generally gets 4-staff first. Oh, Resolution with the perfect rune. He's going to break the smoke and just kill off Soxa. They couldn't have hoped for a better start to this EGM. Getting in with his Glimmer Cape. Good hook shot as well from Bambo. Call down. We'll connect on 2 here. Pycat thinking about letting the Red Room rip on the back, but decides against it. Funnick taking his bill here. Silent will be continuing with the Rocket Barrage. Now Resolution comes in for a toss. Avalanche is ready, but a nice timing on the Glimmer Cape again from EGM will keep him alive. Solution needs a little bit more damage. Won't be getting it off just here. Can he get the toss? No, he will die to a single raise, and now Nikwa with the reincarnation comes back in. This is a great fight for 4CL as it looks, or is it? They're actually fighting next to the Serpent wards, and Silent is manning up.
Nikwa looking for the
Somebody
blink.
is winning this fight.
Well, he's got the stun, but he can't get it on Silent. They need a little bit more initiation. Blink coming down on cooldown in 5-4 seconds. He might just blink into full Rocket Barrage, so he's got to be extremely careful. Silent moving very fast with the phase boots. And that Helm of Dominator, really the saving grace. He's still looking for the blinking. Can we get a quick hex? That's the question. Weapon-wise, no, he actually gets the kill before the sun comes out. He will appreciate the trade. Meanwhile, Silent TP's back out. I guess 4CL victory in that fight, but honestly, I felt like they threw away way too many heroes than they needed to.
Yeah, the big part of that was Resolution being able to open on the Wyvern and killing him off before the fight even started. EGM used Glimmer Cape on himself, expecting that the Tiny... Well, they didn't know Tiny was there, actually. He just protected himself first, which is, you know, standard instinct.
That double click, you know?
Yeah, it's a bit easier, and when you don't know where the opponent is, you might just as well be the target yourself as Soxa, so understandable. At the end of the day, I think it's a pretty even fight, so considering that Empire broke their smoke and had the Invis rune, I think 4CL should be okay with that.
Yep. Speaking of BKB, looks like Silent's going to be going for that straight up for himself. Amazing item on their own right for 4CL. You really need it against a Shadow Fiend.
Yeah.
Although Wyvern can still lock you down.
Clockwork has isolated Resolution. They don't have enough, though. Oops. That was probably not the play, tossing in your Shadow Shaman.
Might be fine.
Ice Shark. Now they're going to block him, too. All right. And there's the counter engage coming in. Tusk with a really, very good snowball here. Fiend Script from far away from Noper. That's a call down right there from Silent.
That's a shard.
Shards. Very nicely done. grabbing 2 kills, that hero combination in this crevice, it's just so extremely good. Ice Shard's call down.
I believe that's how Alliance won one fight against 4C&L yesterday in the exact same spot. Just the Shard, just isolating and getting a ton of things done.
Good fight for Empire.
We are seeing Force Staff should be a very important item for 4C&L as well, just because against the Shard. Wyvern gonna get chased here, but he should be fine.
Yeah, Soxa is just gonna fly off to the side. Can CP here. If Funnick had enough mana for the combo, he could have tried for Shard Snowball. Actually did with Intreads. I'm surprised he didn't give it a shot at least. I mean, worst that can happen is that he has to go back to base, which he was anyway, but they're gonna let Soxa go. Might have been scared of a follow-up from a potential backup here or there, but there was no one in sight. And now the question for me is, where does Empire go with the Shadow Shaman? Because he had a hard start, and we just suddenly saw, wow, 4-staff? He's got another 1400 now.
Yeah.
It could be an Axe game, it could be BKB. Link is still an option. I think BKB might be the worst choice, because, you know, the logic is I can just stand and channel my shackles, but the physical damage from 4 Clovers, you're going to die very fast to Shadow Fiend right clicks, or even just Winter's Curse. So,
considering that he's upgrading the Hex, I think that might be the
Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, I think the Axe Scepter just giving you much more HP.
Yeah. Better stats, more pressure.
With that said though, I don't really...
Oh, I've seen this before. Why, Soxa? You found Tiny.
Soxa would give a lot to get that Glimmer Cape right now, but he's been dying quite a bit.
Yeah, he's actually extremely poor. He's been doing all of the supporting for his team, it would seem like, with all the farm on Rubik. He doesn't even have Tranquil Boots yet. Minute 21.
Okay, the big question is, does the Radiant team have detection? Yes, they even have a gem on the Tusk, so this Shadow Blade on the Shadow Fiend might not be too effective in the next fight.
This is all up to Bambo getting a good hook shot. He can try to engage here. Actually, Fiend Script stolen by EGM. He's going to use it in the Glimmer, but of course the gem that you mentioned was already in effect here. Now in comes Silent. Good call down here. Pycat will be actually canceling the Requiem, just going for raises instead. It's going to cost him his life here in a moment. Will be dying. The blink away from Tusk is successful. Off to the side, Nikwa wants to go for a blink, can't get it off, and Weapon Y will be falling to a good flare blast from the
Reincarnation in 3, but he doesn't get it off, and that's a huge win. The wards unfortunately got mopped up by Roshan during the meantime, but it's low enough where they kind of just could walk in. And can Soxa go for the steal? He doesn't have the Wyvern flight for 20 more seconds, so he has to kind of walk in the old school way. Technically, he could just ult and just walk in and pick up the Aegis.
What a play that will be. He could also just get killed off by Tiny right now if he's not careful, but they don't have vision.
So what went wrong in that fight for 4C&L?
Oh, we have a replay, so I think that could answer our questions here. Should be coming up from the score esports here. So we're going to see from the side here, this is what goes wrong. EGM thinks he can get away with this Fiend Script. He actually just gets himself killed instantly, more or less. Getting 1 second grip off. The cogs from Bambo, it catches multiple heroes, but they can't really get the damage out. I think there was also a Fiend Script on Pycat there for a little bit, ultimate, canceling the Requiem. And they were just in an awkward position, and the Wyvern didn't even get to use Winter's Curse the whole fight, so they were lacking a couple of key abilities to get off there. Also, no reincarnation, as I mentioned. Just fighting without some key abilities that they absolutely needed there in order to take that fight.
I think what won it really is the gem purchase for Funnick, because that's what saw the Glimmer Cape up the Rubik, preventing that Fiend Script from going through, and he got to punch him and canceling that channel. And also, of course, I talked about Shadow Blade not being an effective fight or item for that fight because of the gem, so it's a fairly awkward or non-standard time to pick up the gem, but it worked out there. Also a very smart fight for Team Empire, choosing to take the fight when reincarnation is barely coming back up. So very well done, and now Empire, you could make the argument that they're fairly far ahead now after that fight and the Aegis on the carry.
Yeah, 5,000 gold, 7 experience. The Shadow Fiend, the big farmer on the enemy side, got killed off again in that fight, and Tycat will struggle to be able to fight until he gets BKB, I think. There's just so many counters to him. Like, every single hero in Empire has lockdown, and it's just difficult for him to get a Requiem off. So I don't know if Shadow Blade was the choice this game. Obviously, it's great for split pushing and being able to find solo pickoffs with Requiem, but Empire haven't really given him the openings, and when it comes to these team fights, he's probably regretting not getting the Black King bar.
With that said, though, even having the BKB, he would have still got his ultimate cancelled by the Fiend Script channel, but it just makes you much more durable in the fight. you could, you know, worry a lot less about the shaman stuff, the tiny stuff. So
Yeah, exactly. Because if he has the BKB, then the game plan. I mean, for him, you could say yes, he can still get gripped, but it changes the game plan for the team. Then they just need to shut down Bane, and they know their Shadow Fiend is going to deliver.
Right.
Now, if they shut down Bane, you don't know. Maybe he still gets comboed by a tiny. Maybe there's a snowball that stops him. Hex.
Yeah.
Anything like.
Well,
pretty difficult.
Pycat does agree with you. He will go back for the Ogre Club here. And I guess the nice thing for Shadow Fiend is you do farm so fast anyways.
Nice play here by Saksa. If he manages to get this TP out, and he does, beautiful play with the Arctic Burn. Escaping essentially a 4-man gank there by flying the perfect route.
Meanwhile, I do believe Shaman has taken down a tier 2 up top.
Yep.
Pycat though will mop up the wards for a bit of farm.
It's really quite a bit of farm. Those wards give about 30 gold each.
Yeah.
So it's like it's about the same as killing a Lone Druid Bear.
And we will have our answer on the Shadow Shaman. He's going to be going for the Aghanim Scepter.
Yep. 1,500 to go, it looks like. Oh, there's an Eagle Song as well in the Courier for Silent, so Butterfly not far off for him. That is a very good item in this state of the game, because you look over 4CL, what damage sources do they have against him when he's in BKB? They have the right clicks of Shadow Fiend, evasion. They have the right clicks of Wraith King. He just bought a Maelstrom, so he's far away from any sort of MKB. And they have Winter's Curse, and he can even evade his allies' attacks, I believe, so...
Yeah.
He's going to be very, very durable. Hookshot is available!
Oh.
Nope.
Maybe he didn't have the range?
Actually, I think he did.
Yeah.
Level 11. He's gonna try for that one. But
very, very rare to see Bambo not throwing out that hook, because he's completely okay missing it. But
yeah, it's one of those situations where, you know, generally you just try, and if it misses what the cooldown on hookshot is at 55, doesn't really matter. Instead, Empire are just gonna get this tower as a complete freebie, putting a lot of pressure on the map now. Clovers kind of running out of map control, actually. They have one ward on the map in the enemy jungle, and that's pretty much it.
And I guess that's where the Shadow Blade for Shadow Fiend becomes a little bit more effective, allowing him to creep forward much more and get a little bit more space for himself. But
still gotta care for exactly this. Funnick with the gem finds him out. Good Ice Shards. Winter's Curse is available. Very well placed here from Saksa. They were not ready for that. No Hex is gonna come out, but Fiend's Grip from the side. No fear from far away. There's actually no counterplay available for Clovers, and they're gonna lose both as Resolution comes in from the side with Avatos. Nice rocket though. Ends up being a 2-for-2 trade-off with the snipe from Bambo.
Bambo sitting at 2k gold himself after that snipe. It's got to be a 4-staff now, right? I guess BKB wouldn't be bad either, but I think for now and how much the shard's been really messing them up, Force is a very strong item for them. Yeah. Or are you thinking something like an Aghanim Scepter as well?
I don't think... that's a tough call. I don't think Axe is going to do very much. I think he's still going to just die in the engage when they have no 4-staff to bring him out with.
Oh, he wants to fight
reclaimed.
this.
Here comes Nikwa going in a Resolution. Not
this
really
team
in
is
his
nowhere
back,
nearby. I mean, Clockwork's coming in. The call down's going to be nice.
Zoning call down. And they're going to be fine. And now there's a stack for Resolution and Silent. This is a pretty good duo for farming Ancients. They're almost gone immediately. They're going to give them to Resolution. This BKB almost completed. He has pretty poor attack speed, though. They're going to need to do something about that as his next item. I think this might be one of those games where you consider Moonshard over AC simply because the physical damage from 4 Clovers is not scary enough yet, and you just really need to ramp up the attack speed when you have no IO to back you up, no drums, no Yasha. Let's see what he does.
It will be a fast build-up, but I think for thinking about sieging up high ground, because all the tier 2s are removed, AC is obviously a lot better for that situation. But yeah, very interesting to see what choice he does end up going for.
I generally find myself having a hard time arguing against AC, but we have seen Moonshard be quite trendy in some cases for Tinies, so...
Right. One of the actually few hero that you would even make this argument on, because most heroes are like, alright, just go for the AC.
Yeah, there are very few where Moonshard is better. I think... I'm gonna say, apart from Tiny, 90-95% of the moonshots we see purchased actually get eaten right away. It's like a luxury item when you have a full inventory for other carries. We'll see.
4CL still hanging around the bottom lane looking for... Saxa loves to do this. Just throw an Ice Shard, fly into the trees, and off he goes. But they need to do this, because the space has been somewhat limited They need to invade the other side of the map, get more farm for the cores. Because Nico has gone for the initiation build with the Blink, his farm has really slowed down.
Yeah.
In fact, the Shadow Shaman is really catching up to him as a support, so...
That's true. The Empire lineup is looking much stronger right now. This is a key item for 4 Clovers to grab now. Finally, the BKB for Shadow Fiend. Let's see if they can make good use of it. No Aegis available for...
Wow.
Oh, all right. That is actually almost getting him killed. He will survive, though. Saxa should be dying as a result. A good hook shot in from Bamboo. He's actually isolating No Fear as well. This is the target you want to catch. No Fiend Script available. Resolution trying to kill him up together with Silent. Will manage to get the clockwork down as the gyrocopter buyback from the Wyvern. Coming back in, and there is the red click from Pike, and there's no counter now! Laying down the law onto Silent and Resolution. Should be mopping up the entire Empire team. With no Aegis, they had no business going for that play.
I'm completely surprised by the fact that 4CL decided to choose that fight. Because Curse was, okay, pretty off point in the beginning of the fight, and it looked really bad for them. And then after the fight, once all the spells have been baited out, Pycat just walks in with a BKB, and the rest was history. So, like you said, without the Aegis, that push cannot be done. And very surprised to see Empire go for that play. Also, I do appreciate EGM. What he did was, he just glimmered himself and he stood in front of his base because he was expecting Shadow Shaman to lay down the ward and he wanted to go for the ward steal. Getting the ward steal for his team would be amazing because something that we've been touching on is that 4CL is lacking physical damage. Being able to steal Mass Serpent Ward will be a big turn of the fight for 4CL.
That's true. That would be a very nice steal, but there are other good steals here for EGM. I think Fiend Script is probably his #1 priority. If he can grab that one away from Bane, just being able to lock down the Gyro, who is still the main force of physical damage from Empire. You're talking about 4CL. I'm still not seeing Resolution do that much damage, to be honest. He has his combo, but this BKB build, I don't know if it was the right choice this time around. He does have defensive tools in, of course, the defensive Nightmare and the Snowball, and maybe he could have gone for an AC first and considered, okay, even if I get disabled, if I have the armor from AC, I could still stay alive, but we're going to see what happens now. The BKB will be completed. He can just sell wand or bottle, whatever he prefers to keep.
Okay, how about this? He's not really punching that hard when you're looking up kind of mano against the Shadow Fiend or the Wraith King, but what about he just blinks on the back line, activates its BKB, and just go on the support? Don't let them have the free reign on EGM as well as Saxa. Should that be the way that he kind of takes this route? Because you're right, he's not going to kill Shadow Fiend anytime soon with this current lineup of items.
I think blinking on the back line is very dangerous when you're playing against a Clockwork with Force Staff. You can just get isolated away from your team and get killed on the back. And yes, he has BKB and can keep himself alive, but he puts himself in a really bad position. They have Glimmer Cape on Rubik. They lost the gem there, I believe, so...
Yes.
It's difficult to say. It really depends on, of course, the positioning, as it always does, but just blindly going for that play, I don't think is the choice it should be making here.
Looks like
Hook shot in.
It's going to be a
Alright, he's dead.
Well, but the Shadow Fiend on the back line, can he get off his ultimate though? No, he's going for the right clicks for now. No Fear in the Snowball, channeling for the ultimate. It's going to be good. It hits everybody right now. Shadow Fiend going for the raises, but his teammates are dying too fast. The BKB's over and the Shackle isolating the Shadow Fiend. They do get the kill. The ending Requiem being able to pick up somebody. Here comes Nikwa for his second life. His BKB going on silent. And can he get the kill? The evasion pretty good for now, but Nikwa mono gets the kill on Tiny. Can Tiny blink back out? Probably. And looks like they're going to just let the Tiny go. In fact, Tiny thinking about going back in. By the end of the score, it is a victory for 4CL thanks to Reincarnation.
Somebody won.
Somebody won. Boy, it was close though. It was close.
Yeah, there were no buybacks, right, from 4CL?
No.
So showing off that new BKB on Wraith King, absolutely crucial item for that fight for Nikwa to be able to use. Now the question is, which team benefits more from these BKB charges dropping? There's 9 seconds on the Tiny, now Gyro's down to 7, Shadow Fiend down to 8, and that was the first usage of Wraith King, so he's on 9. So I'm just considering, if you look at how these team fights have been developing and how long they are, I think Empire might be taking more advantage of these BKBs dropping in duration until Nikwa starts getting an MKB, so that they can kill the Gyro. That's a very, very big item, by the way, here now for Shadow Shaman. Eggs, he's closing in on level 16. It's something 4 Clovers they can't let the Shadow Shaman plant the wards and fight inside them. They're going to lose the fight. They're starting to become that dangerous now. And it's a damage source that ignores Winter's Curse. Yay! So it doesn't really matter how you place them. Uh-oh, Saxa in a pretty bad position here, but as always, Saxa finds a way out. Nice Arctic Burn across the river.
Saxa probably going to pick up a cloak for himself into the Glimmer. Just probably the most cost-effective item he could buy for himself and his teammates for now. But you're absolutely right about the Mass Serpent ward. I think the reason that 4CL came ahead in that fight was because the wards has been deployed in the Roshan pit, and the fight was mostly outside of it. So
you look at the damage these Mass Serpent wards do. If you didn't have Aghanims, they would do 60 damage each. They do 110.
Yep.
So it's almost the same as having a refresher in terms of damage output, as long as the wards don't get destroyed.
Don't forget about the splash. It's not exactly the biggest AoE, but given this fight, you're gonna clump up sometimes, and they hurt pretty badly.
And that splash also levels up. I actually completely forgot about that. It levels up as the spell levels up too. The splash gets way better on higher levels.
Because generally you're just using it to punch towers, so you're not splashing much.
Think about it too much. But the splash, let me see, what is this? This is actually a number I don't know at all. So, yep, it's the radius that increases. If you check that.
Yep.
I'm sure our observer showed those numbers and everybody got to read them in time. So we're all good, don't have to sum that up.
Alright, so Satanic being picked up. You talked about the BKB duration going down. There's not too much really long duration lockdown where he can't get off his, at least 1 or 2 lifesteal attacks, and that could be all the difference in terms of having a healthy enough gyro. And right now they still don't really have an answer for that butterfly evasion.
You saw how long it took them to kill Sound in that last fight.
Yep.
They barely managed after committing everything toward the end. This time it's just not happening. They need key lockdowns to be ready when he pops Satanic.
But he's by himself right now.
They just, alright, that's just a blunder. Nobody visible on the map. Silent with a big risk here. Satanic will go off, but there's the Winter's Curse. And the duration will be ending here as he will fall to Shadow.
But the team is coming in right now. I don't think you take this fight if you're Team
This
Empire.
is a very bad play call if they go now. He doesn't have buyback either. They saw him buy the Satanic and pop it there. That's just a huge freebie. This could even be Rax if 4 Clovers play it right.
Well, let's see if they're going to make that gusto call. They do have the very experienced Pycat as well as EGM. And probably Bambo just saying, go, man. Just want to fight.
Good split push, though, here from the Shadow Shaman. Level 16.
Oh, they want to catch him.
Yeah, Rubik. Just as good a play out of 4CL here. They're baiting it, and he will get caught. Very nicely done here, EGM.
What?
No,
actually... Force that. Where was the lift, EGM? Do they have enough mobility? They do force that forward. There's a lift back, and it looks like Bambo's going to get the kill. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map here, they're going on the Rave King. He will use his reincarnation shards in a very nice spot. Looking for the Requiem on the high ground. Nico gets gripped. They need to rescue their Rave King. He's taking way too much damage. Okay, there's a heal. There's a Requiem flying out, but looks like Nico will still die. Popping the BKB, but will go down as a result. They did get the Shaman pick, but looks like they might lose a little bit more fun. Coming in, looking for the punch.
Play.
Okay, cancels the TP, and suddenly Pycat really isolated from the rest of his team. Great nightmare, but just delaying it. And here comes EGM and Bambo. 4 kills in the favor of 4CL.
All right, not so nice play, because nobody had the damage, and they were actually all low. But here comes Silent, call down onto 3, Black Cannon as well. Get out of here for Clovers.
Great cogs.
Gonna escape with 2. The cogs from Bambo keeping the rest of the team safe, and EGM keeps the gem. The secondary gem, however, was on Bambo, so one goes back the other way. And Empire, they need to be really careful not to make these mistakes again, because 4 Clovers got dangerously close to getting something really big out of that.
But this is one of our closer games so far in the tournament, right? Like, it's still hard to say. You can make the argument that 4CL has a slight advantage in this game, but I could definitely see Empire taking it in, after 1 or 2 good fights.
Oh yeah, this game is not, like, there's no, there's no critical timer where one lineup just obviously loses.
Well,
so.
Okay, let me make the devil's advocate argument, right? Let's say the game goes for 10, 15 more minutes, and Aloha Dance picks up Refresh Orb. Is that a big boost? That has to be a big boost.
It is, if you get your spells off. But, that's the whole danger in the late game, playing as a support with that kind of build. You do have quite a bit of tankiness, but the carries are so strong that if you get opened on by, say, Winter's Curse or a hook shot, you could die within 2 seconds to a right-clicking Shadow Fiend and a Blink Wraith King. So, yes and no. I do think the argument that Shadow Shaman becomes a stronger late gamer than the opposing team supports holds pretty well, though. With Sox's limited farm, he is not getting a refresher this game, most likely, so that advantage in gold among not among their supports, because Bane is dirt poor, but he just wants to get a Fiend Scrib off, actually doesn't really need many items, is all about getting the right position.
With that said, EGM also kind of pretty rich in his own right, trying to finish his Aghanim Scepter. Hitting a 2-second spell seal in this game is pretty amazing. a lot of great spells that you can cycle through.
Yeah, currently sitting on Hex. Oh, that is not good for Saksa. He's getting used to it, I think. But that was actually a dieback from earlier. 80 seconds death for him. And Empire, can they claim anything with this? There's actually a double damage river, rune in the river. And Resolution will be finding that. He will hit mega hard right now if they do.
If you see that now, do you just make a play off of this?
4CL do see him picking it up with their rune, with their ward. I think they're just getting the hell out of there. They don't want to fight this, but Resolution, he wants to take it to them. He's pinging in the bottom tower. Probably knowing this is a 5-on-4, just looking at the death time of Wyvern, it's very obvious that was a dieback. Maybe they didn't track the exact buyback timer, but he also doesn't have the gold anyway.
He also has AC and Hyperstone, so he is punching fast now.
Highcat will force back Funnick though. And there's the snowball. Funnick with a gem could actually just keep Highcat busy and prevent him from TPing, and that looks like
just chase him.
Exact plan here.
Cancel his TP, you know, don't let him get back to base.
Do.
BKB though will actually...
Requiem! Oh, Funnick! Was it worth it? I don't know.
Well, on the back line, the wards are deployed on the tier 3. No more glyph, and the wards will start to beat on the tower. Shadow Fiend gets back in time to start, destroying these deployed wards.
And they got a tier 3 for Funnick's death. He tried to stop Highcat, but using the fog to his advantage with the Requiem. Requiem on cooldown now as well, but Empire is still not feeling confident that they can win this fight 4-on-4 with Saksa respawning just now. And he lost his gem too, but Highcat didn't have a slot, so it will be grabbed by No Fear. They managed to salvage that as well. Good enough?
I don't know, that play made sense to me, at least, because if he was able to cancel Highcat's Shadow TP,
oh, that is
they get the Rex. Yeah, so
absolutely.
It's definitely a very high-risk, high-reward play.
Yeah.
But,
and he also knew that in order to die, Highcat had to commit Requiem, and then that's still a very key cooldown.
Right.
He managed to force out. So it's not too bad. This is the most important moment of the game, though. It looks like Empire aren't ready for it at all. Tusk respawning now. Silent is across the map. 4CL might just have gotten themselves a really big freebie here. The ping now coming out from Resolution. They're not going to be there on time. This is Aegis and Cheese for 4CL.
They just don't have the initiation that 4CL has with the Clockwork, so Cheese actually goes to the Clockwork. I'm surprised. I thought Nico was going to pick it up for sure.
All right, Resolution. Let's just go. It's going in.
All right, does pick off the Rubik very quickly. Saksa will fly over the trees, or will he? All right, he's out of there. But you're still very happy with this exchange. In fact, Bambo, oh no. I heard the hook. I was like, wait, he's not going back in.
It hit?
Yeah. He hit a creep to get the heck out of it.
Bambo's back to the creeps. Let's see if Empire can do anything with this, though. There's 40 seconds on Rubik's respawn, but he has buyback. I really don't think they should be making this play. They're fighting into Aegis and Cheese in the enemy base. I think there's even a glyph. There is for 4 Clovers. This isn't going to end well, I think, but they're going to go for it anyway. Saksa. Oh, he's going to die immediately. No buyback. At least the 5-on-4 situation forced here. The Mass Serpent Ward's actually just getting to lay into Niqua. Silent. They've isolated Bambo. How the hell is this working out for them so well? Now Resolution on the back foot. Highcat using the defensive Requiem here, just trying to scare them off and destroy these Plague Wards.
Niqua will die a second time. Silence really chasing for him. Meanwhile, there's a Hex going weapon wide. They're going to beat the hell out of that Shadow Fiend. Aegis is going to pop right now, but everybody's dead. Buyback coming out here from Niqua. Shadow Fiend will respawn, but where's the Tiny damage? No, Tiny doesn't even care about it because Silent is on the front line. Great Nightmare here on the Red King, and here comes Resolution back. Beat the devil out of that Shadow Fiend, and they're just looking for more. Niqua and a lot of... Well, I don't know about that one. Highcat buys back, and they're chasing people out. Force that. Oh, he will survive. Great call down. Okay, the stun will hit on Silent, but again, he's just so tanky and so fast, they don't get the kill.
Mass Serpent Wards.
Yeah, man. Damage
so
output.
Much damage in that fight. What they managed to accomplish with the way they engaged was that the fight got split in two and nobody destroyed the ward. So they just got to bring down Bambo very easily. I think they even cleaved onto Niqua in the fight too. And ultimately, yes, they only get ranged barracks, but that was a huge fight for Empire. They force out the buyback from Highcat and from Niqua.
And I think GM also bought back in that fight.
Kitty? Yeah?
I think so.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So that was 3 buyback from 4CL, and something I suggested earlier for Resolution was to play that aggressive playstyle, just to go on the back line for the supports, and he did just that. And the fact that he had Assault Carriers and Hyperstone really helped out his damage output. That Wyvern as well as the Rubik just flat out died, so that really made the difference when it comes to the fight. You talked about how the Mass Serpent Wards just stay throughout the fight, because who's actually killing them? Shadow Fiend's the only one, and he was being kited around for the most duration of that fight.
The real challenge for 4 Clovers is to not allow them to drop the wards in the first place. The moment they get planted in the base, they're at a strategic deficit. And that's what Empire went for. They knew they were 5-on-4. Rubik did a buyback, but it didn't really matter. When he bought back into that fight, they already planted the wards and were in a very good position.
So you're saying the next time that we see 4CL take these fights, they have to engage them outside the base?
I think it's better if they can. Obviously, you like having the high ground advantage, but the issue is just these plague wards, like you said. The moment they get planted, if Pycat starts committing to them, Resolution, we talked about it earlier, jumping on the backline like you said, and I said maybe you shouldn't do it because you're not tanky enough, you can get
he's
isolated.
tanky enough now.
He is so tanky because he went for the AC and Moonshard. So if he gets into a one-on-one fight with Pycat, he's just going to club him to death. And
so now
that's a concern.
Do you eat the Moonshard and go for crits, or are you looking for MKB? Because Shadow Fiend, instead of MKB for himself, has actually gone back for evasion.
What's the math on that with Tiny, actually? Because your crits are really, really high because of your high base damage. I still think MKB, when you're fighting a hero with Butterfly, I'm pretty sure MKB always does more damage than Daedalus, unless obviously you get lucky, but you can't really rely on that. So just statistically, it's the better choice. But against the rest of the team, Daedalus is just superior.
Yeah, maybe if he
can cleave off them, maybe, and kill Pycat as well.
If he continues to play this, like, I'm going to go for a support playstyle, then the crit's definitely much more favorable. If you get a crit on the EGM and he's just dead, you're like, all right. I do want to point out the Butterfly choice for Shadow Fiend, because normally you're like, okay, they have a Butterfly on their core, I'm going to go for MKB. But I think the fact that there's Master Reward, the evasion is good for that. And also, if you're hexed, the evasion still stands on your Butterfly, so it definitely increase your survivability by quite a bit against Empire's lineup.
I think it was a necessary pickup. I think it was the absolutely best item he could go for, but it just... Pycat, compared to what we've seen on Shadow Fiend, you know, when your Shadow Fiend is behind Tiny and Gyro on net worth, it's not that strong of a hero. Like, the appeal of the hero and the reason almost every team nowadays first picks it if they can is he's strong in lane. If he doesn't just get completely countered early on, he farms the stacks and gets ahead and stays ahead. He's just not ahead.
So
there are way better heroes.
When did he fall behind? Where did he fall behind? Because he was ahead for a good amount of time.
Actually, not that much, I think. I think when he had the Shadow Blade and they took that team fight where he died, he lost a lot of momentum there.
And he had to buy back in the recent fight as well, I believe,
He lost a lot there too. It's difficult to pinpoint. It's also just a map control thing where I want to say the reason he fell behind as much as he did is because Empire just took towers and started controlling the map very well, and he just doesn't get to play the game exactly like he wants to.
4CL just lets Team Empire walks up the base. You know, I'm not sure if this is the winning game plan, but maybe they feel like they just can't actually fight them right now.
They do. They just want to drop those Mass Serpent or Spell Steal. That is very, very useless. It's better than nothing, though, I guess.
Better than Flat Cannon.
Oh, here comes Resolution going in on Nikwa. He will be killing him off with the cleave of EGM and EGM. All right, bye-bye, Rubik.
And the wards have been committed. On the back line here, Clockwork trying to do what he can for the team, but he just dies to the Flat Cannon. This Rex will go down. No buyback here on the Wraith King. Great Winter's Curse, but they just don't have the damage output. Pycat's going to die as well, and that's also a dieback. Because of the previous buyback, can Empire just seal the deal right now? They're looking for it. Saxa will go invis, and the GG just straight up call. All the cores don't have buyback, and Empire, well, I'd just say this was a close game. They do get 2 key team fights in a row, and Empire really, really showing that they could take a late game fight against 4CL.
Yeah, this was one of the best games of the tournament so far. I think it might have been the longest game too, at 47 minutes, which is a weird thing to say when you're so far, but the tournament so far just had a lot of pretty one-sided matchups, but this goes to show these teams are pretty evenly matched.
Yep.
Empire do come out a bit stronger here. I think the important pick to keep in mind going forward for 4CL that probably caught them off guard was